Hey, Mega Moms. Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today we're going to be talking about navigating this shifting market with rising interest rates as a Mega Mom. Okay, so we all know that the market has shifted pretty much across the country. I don't think I have heard from any of our students or any of the moms in our groups that they haven't seen some change in their market. You may still be selling houses. Houses still may be selling fairly quickly, but I think for the majority of the country, there has been a shift. And why is that? So we're going to talk about the rising interest rates, which that's primarily the cause. Also, I believe inflation has played a role in just overall confidence in the market. I think that people are nervous about making a change when they're unsure if their job's secure. And there's so many different reasons why people don't go ahead and move forward. We also have people that purchased or refinanced and got a really, really low interest, and they don't want to give that up because the same payment would get them probably half the home or 75% of the home that they have right now with the value. So there's so many reasons why people aren't jumping in there. And we're going to talk about that today. So we all know that there are issues, there are real struggles facing the real estate economy. So how do you navigate that as a real estate agent? How do you continue to sell houses? Because you have to sell houses to stay in business. So, we're going to talk about three key things that you can be doing right now, even though the market is slowing down and has some challenges. The good news is there are still homes selling. There will always be properties selling no matter how bad the market gets. The question is, are you going to be in a position to be the agent that can help in that time? So I really hope that you can be able to adapt. I mean, that is the key here, that as a real estate agent, you have to be able to bob and weave and adapt in this market, and it can be done. There will be agents that rise to the top. So why not you, right? Why not you? So here are some things that I want you to just keep in mind. One, you need to double down on your sphere of influence. You hear this term a lot. We talk about the SOI or your past clients in your database. If you don't have a plan around this, now is the time to double down. And there's a couple of different things I want you to think about here. One, obviously, is how you're serving your client throughout the transaction. Are you going above and beyond? Are you creating a good experience? There are some ways that you can ensure that you're creating a good experience even in a stressful time. I know we like to say that there could always be, I mean, it's a high emotion. There's going to have things that happen. So it could always be or sometimes be a stressful transaction. But that doesn't equal a bad transaction with you, a bad experience. So you can have a stressful transaction, things that are going wrong, while maintaining a good experience as their agent. And the way you're going to do this is by educating them and anticipating their needs. So, something that we talk about doing is having a really set system or process that you take your clients through from the time that you start working with them as a lead through closing. What we do is we have certain things that will update them on throughout the transaction. We also do weekly transactions. We actually have all of this in the form of templates so that I can make sure I'm saying the right things. And when my team is assisting me, that they're also saying the right things. Just simple things like congratulations, you're under contract. This is when your inspections are due. This is what happens during inspections. Or maybe we're talking about this is when when your earnest money has to be turned in. This is when we have to have that appraisal ordered, just giving them the deadlines. I think sometimes we take for granted that their lender is going through all of this with them. And I will say this, maybe the lender is, and maybe they're just not hearing them, or it's confusing, or they're using different terminology. So we have that opportunity to bridge the gap with our client to help really explain slowly every step of the way and assure them that we're going to be with them throughout the process. So that's the first thing, is really delivering that high quality experience. And by the way, for those text templates, if you're in the inner circle and you're an extra member, you can find those in your business in a box. We have those as a tab in your business in a box. All of my text and email templates are there. So that's one thing, delivering above and beyond service throughout that. And I have even heard of some people offering different services like handyman services to their sellers, even offering to like loan out a trailer for moving. I know of some teams and some agents that'll provide boxes, moving boxes, whenever a property is listed or goes under contract. And so those little touches really, I believe, go a long way in making a difference. And so, what happens when you deliver above and beyond service for your client throughout the transaction? They refer you. And, it's kind of that, what do they call it? The reticular activator. I'm probably saying that wrong, but you know what I mean? Where when you're doing something, you start to notice other people doing the same thing, or like you buy a red car and then now you see all red cars. So it's the same thing when you're buying or selling a house. When your client is buying or selling, they're going to be more hyper aware of other people that want to buy or sell. And even just having this conversation with your client and letting them know, hey, if I'm doing a good job for you, if I'm exceeding your expectations, the highest compliment you could ever give me is sending me a referral. I would love to help your friends and family if you feel like I am doing a good job for you. So lean into your current clients and the service aspect of what you're currently doing. And if you don't have a good system, this is your chance. Okay. Up that experience, outline the experience, make sure you're doing a good job for them. That will go a long way with your SOI. And remember, we're talking about 3 different ways you can generate leads in a rising interest rate market. Okay. So, one is really the foundation to everything. Kind of think about what I'm talking about today with you in layers. You need to do all of these things, but if you don't do anything else but focus on your sphere, make that your foundation, make that your first layer, and everything else can build on top of that. So deliver a great experience. The next thing is, after closing, make sure you're staying in touch. I just hosted my annual client event last week, and nearly every family that came through, except for the ones that just purchased, nearly every family that came through said something about, "Oh yeah, I'm thinking about selling in the next year and you'll be my agent." Or, "Oh wow, me and my husband are thinking about purchasing this lake home, and if we do that, we'll have to sell our house." Or, "My brother's thinking about purchasing land," or whatever. I mean, there was so many opportunities that came from the client event that we did. So just staying in touch with your clients is huge. And you don't have to do a big event. You could actually stay in touch with them in many different ways. You can formulate your plan. I actually have a 52 touch plan. This is available for our extra members of the inner circle. By the way, I'll put the link to join the inner circle below in case you're not a member. But some of that includes sending a monthly newsletter, doing a monthly giveaway. By the way, that only costs me $200 or $300. I'm not spending a lot of money on my giveaways. I also have a group for my past clients. We tell everyone happy birthday. A lot of them will get a card and a little cookie voucher. Again, not expensive, from my local bakery. They can go in there and redeem it for a cookie. And then my bakery invoices me once a month for those cookies. What else do we do? We do the events. We try to do 4 a year. At minimum, we do 2 per year, and that will get me at least 5 touches per event. That means that we're sending them an invite, following it up with a phone call, then we do a reminder text the day before, and then we see them at the event, and then we send a recap email, newsletter, and sometimes even we'll follow it up with a phone call. If we expected somebody to attend the event and they weren't there, sometimes I will call them and just say, "Hey, we missed you. Hope everything's okay. Would love to have you at the next event." So even that can go such a long way, even if they didn't come. So events are huge. But if events aren't your jam, just doing the monthly newsletter. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Our monthly newsletter simply includes some information of what's going on in our community, our market update, just telling my clients, my past clients, how many homes are on the market, how many homes have sold, average days on the market. Everyone wants to know what the market's like. So why not provide that to them as their agent? And then we do the giveaway in that newsletter. Some other ways that you can reach out to your past clients is picking up the phone. This is the one that I feel like we all resist the most. Maybe you're not like me. Maybe you love to be on the phone, but for me, it's one of those things I have to psych myself up for. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been inviting people to our client event, and so I've been on the phones, calling and texting my past clients, and I've had so many good conversations, even prayed with a few people, or was updated on, life circumstances. These people are my friends, and that's how it should be. They're not just a number, they're not just a transaction, they become our friends. So that is such a huge base. And I've been doing this for 20 years, and I truly believe that just just staying in touch and caring about my clients has made the biggest difference to getting that repeat and referral business year after year. And because guess what? The people that are going to buy right now are going to be people that have to buy or have to sell. So think of things like there's a death, that's a hard circumstance. There's a divorce. Maybe somebody had a job that was maybe they were laid off or they were had to relocate. So often the people that are buying or selling right now are more motivated. They have to do it. They're not just doing this because they want to, right? That's kind of what you saw the last 2 years when interest rates were low. It was kind of like, well, we might as well, now or never kind of thing. And so you had a lot of people enter the market that maybe wouldn't have otherwise. They didn't have to. So how are you going to be that go-to agent when people are going through life circumstances? My personal belief is when you're going through something, you don't want to just be randomly assigned an agent on Zillow. You're not just you're going to go to the relationships first. You're going to ask your friends and family who they've used. Who do they trust? You're going to maybe lean into people that you've worked with in the past. So this is where that sphere and past client database, that very base foundation is huge. And yes, it is a long-term play, but you never know. I mean, it's all about connections. It's all about how many people are you talking to weekly. If you're not picking up the phone and talking to your database at least, I would say once a quarter, you are definitely leaving money on the table. And it doesn't have to feel salesy. It doesn't have to be, hard. We have some great conversation starters that work year after year that feel very authentic and organic for you to reach out to your past clients in your sphere. So that's the first, I guess, pillar. I mean, really, it's just the foundation. It's the first layer that you have to master. The second one, really, the second and the third, you can do either one. And you could go all in on either one. You don't necessarily have to do both, but I would say if you do all three of these things, you will see and you will be able to survive a shifting market with rising interest rates. So the second one is your community. And again, my second and third are kind of equal. So I'll just go ahead and tell you community and then social. So when I say social, I mean your online presence. So let's talk community first, because I feel like this industry, like coaching industry, we talk online exclusively almost. And I think sometimes, especially this generation of agents that maybe came into it with the technology all being in place, we forget about the community one. So, as a mega mom, I want you to know you are in the best position of all agents because you have a built in network with your kids. And I want you to lean into that. I want you to think about it. I want you to be intentional and start volunteering, start getting yourself out there in the community. I believe that this is what's going to set agents apart because everyone is online, maybe not well, they're not online well. I'm going to show you and talk about like how to be effective at your online presence. But if you can combine these three things, have like this trifecta effect, you will definitely not struggle with getting business whatsoever. Mastering your sphere, which includes service and nurturing, mastering your community, which includes being face to face and getting involved, becoming known, having a personal brand and reputation within your community. You want people to think of you, right? Whenever they want to buy or sell. And you're gonna ask me, like, okay, well, how do I do that? So, one, get involved at your kids' school. Just think about where you are already going. So maybe you go to church. Maybe you're a member of the chamber. Maybe you're in a young professionals group. Obviously your kids are in school. So what do you have in your world that you could lean into? Is there a passion that you love? Maybe you love horses and you want to be involved in that rodeo world. So whatever it is, just be intentional about getting yourself out there, making connections, getting out of your little bubble and talking to people. And real estate will naturally come up. I mean, it's just in conversation. You ask somebody what they do for a living, they're going to ask you what you do, right? And then becoming friends on Facebook, and then it's the next layer is that online presence. When you become friends with somebody on Facebook, especially in the beginning, they're going to see what you have to offer for the first 30 days, or maybe Instagram or whatever platform you're on. And so the next thing you need to master or point here is the online presence. And there's so many different directions we can go with this. I don't want you to get overwhelmed and like shut down on me. But if you can at minimum master maybe 2 socials, if you can do Facebook and Instagram and have a business Instagram that feeds to your Facebook page and you're posting things that are relevant to your audience, relevant to your community, things about your what's going on in the community, what's the market like in your community, talking about houses, and also thinking about the people that want to buy and sell right now. I covered this earlier. You have people that are going through divorces, that are being laid off, or being relocated, or there's death. Think about the triggering life circumstances, or maybe a baby being born, right? Triggering life circumstances. And so ask yourself, what is standing in their way? What resource would they need to know? Maybe you're going to offer a resource about estate planning, or how to avoid probate, or how to navigate probate if you inherited a property. These are all things that if you have experience in or you can learn about. Listen, there's no excuse right now. You can learn anything and everything you want to with YouTube, GPT. Like, there's so many resources. So you can put together resources and make that available on your business pages to generate leads. Because really, when it comes down to it, this social or this online presence has 2 components. You have a branding component. So you want to have a presence. You want people to go to your page, maybe your website and your Instagram or your Facebook page. You want them to go there and see that you're a legitimate business, that you have a track record, that you're trustworthy. Let's face it, we all scope each other out before we do business with each other. We want to make sure we know who we're dealing with before we pick up that phone, okay? So you have your branding aspect of the online presence, and then you have your lead capture aspect. They both are so important and really go hand in hand. so important that you have some just general information. You have a presence, you have a page, you have an Instagram, you have a Facebook, or wherever you're choosing to lean in. Maybe it's YouTube. Um, and then your website, that's all good. But then what? They land there, and then what are they going to do? So you need to have that next step for them to reach out to you or for you to capture their information. And this is where that lead capture comes into play. Okay. So somebody giving you their information to get something, get a list of homes, get that resource that we talked about, whatever it is. And then you gather those emails and that information. And what do? Follow up, call. So those are the three aspects. And I know that this is simple, but I feel like gone are the days that you can effectively and affordably buy leads. Why is that? My opinion here is I think people don't want to be treated like a number. They want to work with someone who is going to care in a world full of ChatGPT, AI, automation. I believe the people that need to buy and sell right now, they are forced to. They don't necessarily want to, they have to. And it's at a critical time in their life. They do not want a robot helping them. They do not want it to be automated. They want to work with a professional that cares about them. So, those are the three areas I would encourage you to lean into. Start with your sphere, your service, and reaching out. That is your foundation upon which everything else stands. You have to figure that out. So, if you don't have that dialed in, take this week, join the inner circle, use our templates, use our step by step process we have for our buyers and our sellers. Start that process. Organize your database, start reaching out to people, calling people. Do that first. Then start joining community events, put it on your calendar. For me, I'm going to start going more to a Bible study on Monday nights. And then I'm also doing I'm going to join Optimist Club is what it's called here in my community. So I'm going to join a nonprofit. And then I intentionally, try to reach out and do things within my community to help and volunteer and things like that. So even somebody like me that's been in this business for 20 years, it has been on autopilot for a lot of us that have had success. Business has just flowed to us. And it's up to us now to go and get it and to be in the place where we are thought of first whenever these life circumstances happen. So just to recap again, your sphere, your community, and then your online presence, which includes your brand and lead capture. And we're going to go deep into a lot of these things. I'm going to give you some very actionable steps on this tomorrow in the inner circle. So if you are not a member, we have two options to join. You can become a basic member, which is free. So definitely a great way to just kind of try it out. And then we have our extra membership, which also includes you being on the Zoom call with me, where I can coach you through your business. You can ask me questions and I can help you specifically in your business. So there's so much we have here at Mega Moms. We are invested in your success, and I can't wait to see you succeed and thrive in this rising interest rate shifting market. All right, we'll see you on the next episode.